Go ahead. All right, so tonight we're talking about oils and pets.
Yeah.
We all have various fur babies or feather babies, and there's a lot of misinformation out there. Um, when you look on the internet in this age of viral posts and 15 minutes of fame, uh, Dr. Google is probably not the best source of information. So what I'm going to be sharing with you tonight is actually coming from doTERRA's Veterinarian Advisory Board. And I'll even be sharing some links with you to their podcast. And I'll also share with you one of my favorite veterinarians. Her name's Dr. Janet Rourke. She's a vet in Austin, Texas. She's known worldwide as the essential oil vet, and she actually uses doTERRA in her veterinary practice. So what I've compiled for you tonight is kind of the tip of the iceberg. If you really want to dig in, you can join her Facebook group, and I think it's every Thursday night. She's got a live Q&A where she'll talk about all kinds of like specific issues, health issues for pets, as well as like farm animals and things like that. But okay, so tonight, honestly, whether your dog is stressed from thunderstorms or your cat could benefit from digestive support, using essential oils can really be part of a well-rounded health program and can help your pets thrive. So yeah, so let me just show you my fur babies. All right, not these guys. Sorry, let me go to the next slide here. Although those guys are cute. Here we go. All right, so I've got some pictures here of my pets. So this big picture in the background, I took this in 2018 and I was so happy. It's not the prettiest picture. It's actually my cat Edwin and my dog Atlas when I took them to the vet, and I was so thrilled. I shared this in our Facebook group in You Are Essential, so at this vet visit, I was so happy because the year before, so these guys are both pretty old. Edwin is still with us. He was 11 at the time I took this photo. He's 14 now. So I may have gotten the year wrong, but I know he was 11 at the time. And Atlas, we don't really know how old he was because he was an old dog that turned up on my doorstep. But the vet told me the year prior to taking this photo that Atlas, my dog, had like cardiopulmonary disease. And she said, that is what is going to kill him. And she said, you probably have somewhere around a year left with him. Just keep an eye on him. And if he starts coughing, that's when we need to bring him in and start giving him some medication. So I immediately went home, and every day I started giving him a tiny little bit, less than a drop, of yarrow pomegranate essential oil, and I would just put a little dab on my finger and just put it on his lip, and he would lick it off. And the reason I did that is because most essential oils that humans respond to, dogs respond to in the same way. And yarrow pom essential oil is a combination of yarrow flower and pomegranate seed essential oil. And it strengthens the heart muscle. It improves the function of the valves. It's a blood tonic, so it helps clear away things that can build up in our arteries. And so it also helps with blood pressure. And that's why people will take it every morning and every night as a preventative. People who are actively fighting heart issues will take it 3 or 4 times a day. But I just started giving him a little bit on his tongue, a little bit on his lip every day. And 1 year later, at this visit, the doctor could not hear any evidence of his heart murmur or any of the problems that she had heard the previous year. And so she looked at, she actually double checked her notes, and she's like, this is not something that goes away. She's like, I don't understand what happened. And I told her what I'd been doing. And she was like, we need to talk more. So I gave her a book and she ended up using Yarrow Palm herself. But this made me so happy. Now he's no longer with us. He ended up passing of kidney failure about 4 years after I took this photo. We just lost him in November. So yeah, so he was with us for a good long time after that. Now this is Pabu. He's our new puppy. We just got him not too long ago. And his thing is he's terrified of thunderstorms and fireworks. And he shakes and he shivers and he gets, he cries. And so I learned a trick from Dr. Rourke. She said, you take all your calming oils. So that would be lavender, copaiba, balance, adaptive, any of the oils that are known to be calming. And she said, you just leave the cap on and you just hold it out and let him sniff them. So Jill, when you and I did it, I forgot to tell you to leave the cap on. Dogs have millions more olfactory receptors than people do. So when I had you take the cap off, I don't know what I was thinking. No wonder your dog backed away. But if you leave the cap on and let the dog sniff them, you kind of watch their reaction. If they back away or they turn their head, that's not the oil for them. But if they sniff the bottle, or in Pabu's case, he's a lavender baby. He actually tried to eat the bottle. So that's the best oil for him. And so now when he gets, when we have thunderstorms or fireworks, what I'll do is I'll take a little bit, like less than a drop of lavender, and I'll just put it on my hand and I'll just kind of wipe it on his chest and the tips of his ears. And immediately will calm down. Now, Edwin over here, our cat, he's like such a healthy cat. The vet said that he's the healthiest 14-year-old cat she's ever seen. He has a thyroid issue, so I use a little bit of lemongrass on his belly, just so that it'll get into his bloodstream and help his thyroid. The other thing that I do is he gets allergies. And so I'll put a drop of lavender in the palm of my hand and I'll take his paw and put it in the lavender. And it'll go through the skin in his paw pads and it'll get into his bloodstream and stop him from sneezing. So anybody who's got allergies, lavender is a natural antihistamine. It's awesome. So we think of lavender as being calming and helping with sleep, which it does, but it's also great for allergies. So those are some examples of what we do. Edwin sometimes will get fleas, and we have a spray called Tear Shield. It's got essential oils in it. I'll just spray my hands and just pet him, and I'll watch the fleas jump off. Haven't had to do that in a while, but there have been a few times where we've had to do that. So I wanted to show you the top oils for pets that happen to be really good for humans too. So frankincense supports healthy cell function. Okay, so if you've got cells behaving badly, or if there's any kind of tissue damage, like a scratch or a cut or an incision, frankincense will help the cells, the tissues knit back together. It's very rejuvenating for the skin, and it's also balancing to the mood. Lavender is calming and relaxing. It soothes skin irritations. It helps to reduce anxious feelings and promotes restful sleep. That's a good one to sprinkle on your pet bed if lavender is the oil that your dog has chosen. Digestive, we use it for tummy trouble. We can use it the same way in our pets. So think about queasiness on car rides, right? You can put a little bit of digestive just in the car. Like you could kind of sprinkle it on your floorboards and they'll just be breathing it in and it'll help ease any kind of queasiness in the car. Or you can even dilute it and apply it directly to the tummy if they're having issues. My little Pabu has issues sometimes with constipation. We got him a probiotic But before that, I was using a little bit of digestin on his tummy as well, and diluting it with coconut oil. We're going to talk a lot about dilution because pets are not the same as humans. Their bodies are small, and they metabolize oils differently than humans do. So we're talking about one oil or less, like one drop of oil or less. And at the end of the class, I'm going to show you a chart with a dilution ratio per, like, by animal. And so that way you can take screenshots of that as we go. On Guard. We all know On Guard as the oil that helps to support our immune system. It does the same thing in your pets. So it helps, support your body's natural defense against germs, and it's full of antioxidants. I remember Dr. Rourke talking about putting On Guard in her chickens' water because they have a tendency to get certain kinds of infections in the intestinal tract. So she'll give them On Guard. Balance is an oil that we use for calming. It works the same way in your pets. Feelings of tranquility, very grounding. If you've got a dog, or, especially a dog, but a cat too, that's very excitable, you can just diffuse lavender, right? Or you can sprinkle it on their pet, like their area. TerraShield, I mentioned earlier, you can just spray it on your hands and pet them, or you can kind of mist them very lightly with it to repel fleas. If they're being bit by mosquitoes, that's another way to keep mosquitoes away from them and from you. Mosquito sprays are so toxic, but TerraShield smells amazing, and it's completely toxin free. Look at Copaiba here on this screen. I cannot tell you enough about Copaiba because we use it for so many things, and you can use it for so many things with your pets too. I tend to think of Copaiba as like one of the most important anti-inflammatory oils. I take 2 drops under my tongue, and it gets in my bloodstream, and it just calms down inflammation anywhere and everywhere. But it also does other things. Take a look at that list. It supports the liver and the urinary tract and the respiratory tract and the nervous system, the skin, the cardiovascular system, all of that, in addition to being anti-inflammatory. And the cool thing about Copaiba is it's so gentle. It is not, if you put it directly on the skin, it's gentle. It doesn't sting. It doesn't burn. You can't like OD on this. It's just such a wonderful oil for us and for our pets. Now, if you've got an animal that's got tense muscles, I think of, horses sometimes, how they'll, maybe if they're getting a lot of exercise, they may have sore muscles. You can use the AromaTouch massage blend, just a little bit, and you can comfort and relax tense muscles if you apply that topically with a gentle massage. Okay. Also, if you've got an animal that's getting old, right, and maybe they've got some like an arthritic hip or something like that, using maybe a little bit of Copaiba and a little bit of AromaTouch, that combination can be incredibly relaxing and soothing, to help support just the relief of that discomfort. Okay. So when you're introducing oils to your pets, you definitely want to start slow and keep the cap on, just to make sure that that they don't hate that particular one. I'm especially thinking about dogs when I say that. Let them self-select and tell you yes or no with their behavior. Definitely, definitely, definitely dilute. Okay. The easiest way to get less than a drop is to dip a toothpick down into the bottle and then wipe that on your hand. Okay. And that's going to be less than a drop. And then you could add a little bit of coconut oil to that and kind of mush your hands around, and then, pet the animal, or, put it on their chest or whatever you're wanting to do with it. And, anytime you're diffusing a new oil or an oil that maybe you're not sure of, you can always just observe their behavior for the first 20 minutes. You can also leave a door open for them to go to another room. I don't know if you noticed in the picture of that I showed you earlier with Sophia, my daughter Sophia, hugging Edwin, the diffuser is sitting right next to them. It was actually over here on this table behind me. I'm always diffusing oils in this room while I'm working, and that's his favorite place to be. And it doesn't seem to matter what oil I'm diffusing or what combination of oils I'm diffusing. The cat is always right there. So it's kind of funny, you know, he loves it. And so he's self-selecting to be there. He could go out anytime he wants. So let's, you know what, let's do this. Let's talk about just a few of the myths that are kind of shared around essential oils real quick, and pets, okay? Because you do hear things. You know, I remember not too long ago, there was a post that was going around on Facebook of this woman who was so upset because she said that, you know, essential oils killed her cat. And the first thing that I would say is, one, how do you even know if what you're using is really an essential oil? Because most of the stuff that's out on the market is fake. She could be diffusing something or using something with her cat that isn't even a plant oil, but is labeled as such. So starting off, you always want to have pure therapeutic grade essential oils. Oils that are that we know that what's in the bottle is also what's on the label. That's what you're going to get when you have doTERRA's oils. For those of you who don't know, and I think all of you who are with me here tonight know this already, but you can actually look at the bottom of any doTERRA bottle and there's a batch number, and you can go to source2you.com and you can type in that batch number and view the chemical analysis report for your specific oil, which is awesome. doTERRA's oils are the only brand of oils in the world that have been, the consistency have been tested, and they're actually consistent with a pharmaceutical grade essential oils. So they're made for this, okay? Some other, and speaking of cats, I see a little cat tail in front of Paul and Cindy. This is so cute. A little camera hog.
Yeah, that's Largo, our little cat.
Oh, this is for you. So, okay, so you may hear, and we've got Jill's dog with us tonight too. Like, I feel like I should go grab Pabu or something. So fun. I love it. I love it. Okay, so you may hear that diffusing around pets is toxic. And, you know, it's true that essential oils are highly concentrated extracts from plants. They are potent, but they're not toxic. Pets have millions more of olfactory receptors, but, you know, diffusing 3 or 4 drops is just a really great way to improve their health. It also has it'll also have emotional benefits when you diffuse oils. In fact, there are a number of shelters. There's a lot of evidence that diffusing lavender in shelter situations can be very calming to dogs. But again, it's important to allow the option to leave the room. It's also important to make sure you've got good oils. Another thing that you may hear about is, you know, just in general, essential oils can be problematic with cats. It is true that cats lack a liver enzyme that can make it harder for them to metabolize certain things. So tea tree, wintergreen, peppermint, those are kind of some main ones that can be problematic for cats in high doses. Like, not if you're just diffusing it, but if you were trying to give it to them topically, internally, like in a capsule or something like that. I recently read a study about tea tree killing a cat. And then when I read how much they gave the cat, it was more than a whole bottle of oil, which is, you would never even do that to a person. An adult human serving size is 1 or 2 drops. Of course the cat had problems. Of course the cat died. Like, that's so 250 drops in one of these, and it was more than that. So another thing that I just feel I need to say is I find it interesting that the same people who are up in arms about using plant oils around pets are often don't even think about the, like they think nothing of using harsh chemical cleaners, bleach, room sprays, plugins. They don't think twice about having those around their pets, but they're going to be, nervous about using real lavender or real, real lemon. Like what? Let's think about this for a second. So another thing to just think about is if you really want to take good care of yourself and your pets, consider switching out what you're using to clean your house with and what you're using to make your house smell good, right? You can do this with doTERRA. You can do this with your essential oils. Okay, so going back to our PowerPoint again, we'll go on to the next slide. And you can use oils 3 ways with your pets: aromatically, topically, and sometimes internally. So we talked a little bit about diffusing. When you have diffuser, with pets, you want to use a water-based diffuser. There are diffusers that will pull the oil directly out of the bottle, but when you've got pets in the house, you want to use a water-based diffuser. So this is a diffuser that I've got right here. This one is called the Roam diffuser. It actually happens to be cordless. It sits on a base that charges the battery. So I can just put some lemon or On Guard or Balance, whatever I want in here. And I can just put the top on and turn it on, depending on what I want to do. If I want to kill airborne germs, I can diffuse On Guard. If I want to calm everybody down, I can use Balance or Adaptive or Copaiba or, Serenity. So what it's doing is it's creating it's got a, oh my goodness, I think I need to charge it better. This is a very, very small mist that I've got going on right here. I don't even think you can see it. This is not usually it's much more than this, but
I can see it, but it's definitely not as strong as normal.
as usual. Yeah, I didn't have it on the charging base at all since I guess the last time I taught a class. It was like a week ago. Anyway, I can smell it, but what it's doing is it's creating a vibration that's creating this cool mist that's going up into the air, and it makes the room smell amazing. It also provides the emotional, and mood benefits. And it's also a really great way to just get oils into and on and around your pets in a way that's very safe. Okay. You can also use oils aromatically with your pets. And again, I'm thinking, the main reason you would use oils aromatically, it would be to help them calm down, help them relax. If they're having respiratory issues, that's another reason. Like you could diffuse something like Copaiba, and then they're breathing it in, and it's helping their lungs. It's helping them, open their airways. You can also put oils on a cloth or a cotton ball or a tissue near them or on their bedding. Topically, you can just, pet their back. You can put a drop of oil on your hands, rub them together, and then just pet along the spine of your animal. You can also do like I did with Edwin. You can put a little bit on their paw pads. Dr. Rourke recommends the back paws because they're less likely to use that to like rub their eyes or to put in their mouth. You can also apply to the tips of their ears. If you've got an animal that, when you're giving them a bath, you can use oils in their shampoo and or conditioner to put it on during a bath. So think about adding a little bit of TerraShield to their shampoo, or think about using, if you want to have like a shampoo that's going to get rid of fleas and ticks and repel things like that. Or if they're particularly excited or they don't like bathing, right? You could use an oil that's maybe calming and relaxing. And then you can also use, a few drops in the litter box or on a rug or spritzing their bedding. Those are all topical ways. Now, internally, is the one that we tend to hesitate. We want to be sure that we're doing it right, and we want to be sure that we have an oil that's meant to be used internally. So with doTERRA oils, just in general, across the board for both humans and pets, you want to be sure that your oil, so I've got lemon here, you want to be sure that it's got this label on it that says essential oil supplement, supplement facts, serving size 1 drop. Now that label is for humans, okay? But that's your first clue. If it doesn't have that label on it, it's not meant for internal use for anyone, humans or pets, okay? If it's got the label, it means it's approved for internal use by humans, and it may be okay for your pets. I'm going to give you some more information about what oils to avoid using internally with cats, dogs. I have birds, but I don't think anyone here tonight has a bird, so we probably won't go there. Okay, but generally with cats, just stick with aromatic or topical use, because the way they groom, it's going to end up in their tummy just by default. So you don't need to try. And if you've ever tried giving a pill to a cat or trying to stick something in a cat's mouth, like, forget it. Paul's shaking his head. He knows, like, you'll get shredded. It's just, pet them with it, or put their paw pad in it, and they'll be fine. You can, if you've got a dog though, or a horse or a goat or a sheep, you can put it in a veggie cap. So a drop topped off with a carrier oil, like fractionated coconut oil. You can also mix it with the dog food. So wet dog food works best, and it helps to dilute the oils. You can also dilute the oil in a carrier oil first and then mix that with the food, like maybe some avocado oil or olive oil or coconut oil with your essential oil. And you can also put a drop of essential oil per 2 cups of drinking water. Okay. Again, that's not recommended for cats, but you could do it. That's how I was helping my little Pabu with his constipation, and I was putting a drop of Digest then in his water dish. So he had a full water dish and 1 drop of Digest then oil in there. So let's talk about dogs specifically real quick. Just some things to know. We're going to talk in a minute about proper dilution, but again, just remember that dilution is really important. Letting the dog choose the oil, like if you're using an oil for calming and relaxing, let them pick the one that they like. Avoid putting oils on the nose, in their ears, or in their eyes. We want to use, proper safety. If you're putting it on the tips of their ears, that's one thing, but actually like dripping it down inside is another thing altogether that we want to avoid. Now, if you've got a dog, you might want to write this down. Some oils to avoid using with dogs. Okay. Birch, tea tree, wintergreen. And then you also want to use caution with oils that are hot. Okay, so use caution with oregano, cassia, cinnamon, clove, rosemary, and thyme. Those oils are, it's not that they're super bad for them, it's just that they can be kind of stingy, and so you'd want to dilute. They're just very, very strong. I honestly, it's unlikely that you probably want to use those anyway, because most of the things that you'd be probably thinking about with your pets would be, like helping them recover from a cut, or helping them relax, or helping them with fleas, or I don't know, things like that. Another thing to know is that the On Guard toothpaste and the doTERRA MetaPower gum, both contain xylitol. And xylitol is a, a, a really good thing for us, but it can be toxic to dogs. So don't let your dog get the toothpaste, the On Guard toothpaste, or the MetaPower gum. Just keep that out of their reach. Now we got some people in here who have cats. So the main thing with cats is that you want to dilute. You want to leave the door open when you're diffusing. You can diffuse pretty much any and every doTERRA oil around cats as long as you just give them a way out. Okay. I don't even think about my pets when I'm deciding what to put in my diffuser because they can just go anywhere they want. And I'm not diffusing, whole bottles of essential oil. I'm only putting, 6 to 8 drops in the diffuser. So the safety concern comes with high doses. But if you're using an oil on your cat topically, avoid applying it every single day. Maybe do every other day and use the proper dilution. But here are the oils to avoid topically and internally with cats. Okay, so again, you can pretty much diffuse anything you want, but here are the oils to avoid topically and internally with cats. So citrus oils, birch, tea tree, peppermint, spearmint, and wintergreen. Okay, so citrus oils, birch, tea tree, peppermint, spearmint, and wintergreen. Okay, so moving on here. So now sometimes we have animals that have medical conditions, or maybe they're taking medications. So if your pet is epileptic or has seizures, you want to avoid rosemary, fennel, sage, camphor, eucalyptus, basil, wintergreen, and also any blends that contain those oils. So Deep Blue, Digestive, Breathe, okay? If your pet has a clotting or bleeding disorder, or if they're taking an anticoagulant or a blood thinner, again, same thing. You're going to avoid any of these oils: wintergreen, blue tansy, birch, cassia, cinnamon, clove, fennel, marjoram, oregano, patchouli, and thyme, as well as the oils that have the blends that have them in it. So Deep Blue, On Guard. Okay. Now, can you diffuse On Guard? Sure. You just wouldn't give it to them in their water. You know what I mean? Now, if your pet is on an anti-diabetic drug without careful blood glucose monitoring, you're going to want to avoid cassia, cinnamon, dill, fennel, lemongrass, marjoram, melissa, myrrh, and oregano. And then photosensitizing oils. So it's interesting to know that citrus oils on the skin, and that's true for us too. If we put a citrus oil on our skin and we go out into the sun, the citrus oil is going to make it easier for your skin to get a sunburn. So be aware if you've got a pet that's got, pink skin, or if you got like one of those dogs or cats that don't have fur, like the hairless dogs, don't put citrus oils on their skin. And, if you want to do it at night if you have a reason to. I use citrus oils on my skin for like lemon will get rid of if you've got like a dark spot, it'll get rid of it. But then you want to put it on at night and don't go outside in the sun, it'll be fine by the next day. But again, just be aware that citrus oils, they come from the rind of the fruit and they react with the sun by ripening the fruit. So it's going to ripen your skin or your pet's skin. So that's a word of caution there. Nothing to be afraid of, nothing to be scared of. It's just, a little bit of awareness. And all of these are kind of random oils. They're not really the main ones that we would be using anyway. So it's unlikely you would do this by accident. So here's a good one to take a picture of. So this dilution guide came from Dr. Rourke. So if you look down the left-hand side of this table, this is the percentage of the essential oil, like the amount of the essential oil in the carrier oil amount. Okay, so the purple is the amount of carrier oil. So if you've got cats, you want to dilute so that it's 0.5 to 2%. So we're looking at somewhere in this range. Okay, so if we're doing like 1 drop of essential oil in 10 milliliters. So this is a 10 milliliter roller bottle. So if I was going to make a roller bottle for my cat, I would put 1 drop of lavender and fill it the rest of the way with coconut oil or olive oil or whatever. And then when I want to use it on my cat, I don't want to just roll it, for example. I would just roll it on my hand and then I could apply it to the cat. The reason why I don't want to use rollers on pets is because they can be dirty and then your roller can get contaminated. But I just wanted to give you an idea of how much 10 mLs actually is. And so then you can see here with rabbits and other small rodents and reptiles, which we're not talking about tonight, but if anyone is watching this recording and you want to know, just holler at me and I can give you some information about them. But again, we're at, this percentage. Dogs, it really depends on the size of the dog. So for dogs under 20 pounds, we're looking at 0.5%. But you can use up to 3% for gentle oils like copaiba or lavender or frankincense with larger dogs. So it really depends on the size of their body. Humans is the same way. An infant, you would dilute it the same way we did with that cat, like 1 drop in a whole bottle of 10 ml bottle of carrier oil, whereas an adult would be 1 or 2 drops. Goats and sheep, 2 to 10%, horses, 5 to 10% for hot oils. Okay, so you get the idea. Hopefully everybody grabbed that. I wanted to show you doTERRA's Veterinarian Advisory Board. I keep mentioning Dr. Rourke because she shares so much information. So if you want to follow her on Facebook, you can go to the Essential Oil Vet and you can follow her on Facebook. All of these other veterinarians, they have put out different books. They are always sharing information with us. And I will just grab these and drop these podcast episodes. doTERRA's got a podcast, and 2 of the episodes were from the veterinarians. And so I will drop these in a link for us at the end of, these links in the chat for us. So you guys can listen to those if you like to. So I believe that everybody who's here with us tonight already has a doTERRA membership. So for you, all you have to do is log into your account and you can just purchase whatever you want. The best way to purchase is with the loyalty rewards because you're going to earn reward points. And you'll also get your shipping reimbursed with reward points. But for anyone who's watching the recording and doesn't have a doTERRA account yet, there are 3 ways that you can get started with doTERRA. The first way is retail. It's the most expensive way to buy. If you went to a doctor's office or a salon or a spa or my website, you would pay retail. It's not the best way. The second best way, and then the second best way is to start with a wholesale account. doTERRA works like Costco or Sam's Club, where you've got a membership. Once you have a membership, you can log into your own account and whatever you buy is 25% off retail. You can buy whatever you want, whenever you want, and you're getting it at 25% off. But the best way is to get it below wholesale. And the way that we do that is we start with a starter kit. If you start with a starter kit, you don't have to pay the $35 membership fee. So there's that. And so then you're getting that 25% discount without having to pay the membership. But then if you get on the loyalty rewards program, like I had mentioned before, there are ways within once you have a membership, there are ways to be able to get your oils and your products for below wholesale, either by earning reward points that you can redeem for free products, or also we have special sale items that are marked down even further below wholesale. So for anyone who wants to get started with oils for their pets, and incidentally, they work on you too, you can create your own kit based on whatever products you want to add. If your order is 150 PV, which is approximately $150, you'll get the membership for free. But right now, in February of 2023, I happen to have a coupon code. And so if you get started in the next 5 days of tonight's live video, you can actually use my coupon code. If your enrollment order is 100 PV, you'll get a free bottle of Adaptive. This is the best oil for anxious feelings, panic, stress. If your enrollment order is 200 PV, you'll get a diffuser and Adaptive, as well as Digest-Zen soft gels and Digest-Zen oil. These are the digestive tummy trouble oils. And it's a coupon code that keeps giving, because in March, if you place 100 PV loyalty order, doTERRA will credit your account with $125 worth of account credit. They'll do the same thing in April with $25 worth of product credited to your account. So lots of goodies there. And if you're brand new, if you don't have an account yet, you can just talk to the person that invited you to this class, or the person who shared this video with you, and just let them know what are your top 3 health issues, or what are the issues with your pets that you want to deal with. And also, if there was a kit that caught your attention, and tonight we're talking about oils and pets, and there isn't really a starter kit made for that. We would have to create one. But doTERRA does have starter kits. And so you might ask them to show those to you, because they're actually priced below wholesale. Huge savings on those starter kits. And let them know when a good time to talk is, so that you can chat about that. So that brings us to the end of our pets class, but I wanted to just open the floor. Does anybody have any specific questions that I can attempt to answer? Is there anything that I didn't cover?
I actually do have a question. As you mentioned, certain ones that would not be good if your pet had epilepsy. I was actually just reading in a book that I got, and I noticed that some of them said that, like, avoid if you have epilepsy. Well, my husband has epilepsy. Obviously, I know that's not the same as pets, but do you know specifically why they say to avoid that? And if it's just like topically, or with your like aroma, or is there like certain uses that you should avoid?
So I'm not a doctor, and I don't know. I'm not going to be able to give you a good enough answer without doing some more research on that. But I believe it has something to do with the way the nerves fire.
Okay.
What I will tell you, though, is the oil that's best for epilepsy is frankincense. So frankincense applied to the bottom of the feet, as well as the base of the skull and down the spine, has amazing benefits to the brain and how the brain is working. It just supports all of the nervous system and the brain itself. So that would be what I would recommend for your husband, as well as for any pet that has, issues like that.
Okay, that's good to know. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. I will tell you guys my favorite book. I have a couple books that I use, but this book here is called The Essential Life. This is not the most recent one. Let me show you the most. Here it is. Here's the most recent one. Pardon my disappearing and reappearing. You can get this book from oillife.com, OILLIFE.com. And this book is made for doTERRA's oils. It's not published by doTERRA, but it's made for doTERRA's oils. So if you're a doTERRA member and you're getting oils, I would suggest getting this book, and anytime you get a new oil, look it up. And then you'll see all the uses, because every oil has so many different uses. That way you can get the most out of your oils. But there's a whole section in here on pets. And so they give you, I don't know if I'll be able to find it right now without having to go to the index and all of that, but you can, come on, Tiffany, find it, 512. They have recipes, like, so I made a dry shampoo for my cat, and it used arrowroot powder as the base. You can, okay, so look at this whole section on pets. So doggy paw balm, dog treats, flea repellent collar, calming dog spray, no odor kitty litter, cat scratch deterrent, pet shampoo, smell good pet spray, and it just goes on. So really helpful book. You can get more information there too. So let me grab that that link for the podcast. Does anybody else have questions while I do that?
What did you say was the oil that was good for allergies for your pets?
Lavender. Lavender is a natural antihistamine. So if we were using it for humans, for like seasonal support, the best thing to do would be to combine lavender with lemon and peppermint, because lemon cuts through mucus, peppermint opens your airways, and lavender is a natural antihistamine. But for pets, depending on what kind of pet you're talking about, the peppermint and the lemon may not necessarily be very helpful, but the lavender is what you're really looking for. And so also if they have any kind of skin irritations, lavender, just like with people, any kind of skin irritations, burns, sunburns, mosquito bites, anything like that, hives, lavender's awesome. So I just put the podcast links there in the chat for you guys. And yeah, I appreciate y'all being here with me tonight. Thank you so much. It's good to see you all. If you have any other questions, if you think of anything else, you all know how to reach me. You can find me in the Facebook group, or you can text me. All right.
All right. See ya. Bye.
Thank you,
Thank
guys.
you.
Said Lord of the Rings, you're just like, yeah.
Thank
Bye.
you, Tiffany.
Bye. Take care. We'll see you soon.
Bye. Thank you.
Thanks,
You're welcome.
Tiffany.
You're welcome.
Thank
Thank you.
Bye.